Honorable educators, today our cities are overwhelmed by congestion, pollution, and inequality caused by the excessive use of private vehicles. That is why I stand as the Prime Minister of the proposition to support this motion. As the Prime Minister of the proposition, I define this motion as a government policy to ban the use of private vehicles such as cars and motorcycles in the city centers as the main hub of activities. This ban excludes emergency vehicles, public transportation, and essential logistics. The goal is to reduce the dominance of private vehicles and shift toward a more efficient and inclusive transport system. This policy will be implemented by designating restricted zones in the city center, improving access to public transportation, and enforcing the ban through fines and regulation with a transition period for citizens. The problem now is the dominance of private vehicles, which causes congestion, air pollution, and unequal access to road space. This condition wastes time, reduces productivity, and harms public health, making it urgent to address. I argue that this ban will reduce congestion because private vehicles are inefficient in using road space. By shifting to public transport, mobility becomes smoother. In addition, emissions are reduced, leading to better air quality and improved public health. Finally, this policy promotes fairness by relocating road space for buses, cyclists, and pedestrians, making the city more inclusive for everyone. Thank you.
As the Deputy Prime Minister, I will directly demonstrate why the opposition arguments are irrelevant and fail to address the core issue. Before that, we must first understand the problem. The problem now is that city centers are already experiencing severe congestion, high level of pollution, and declining public health due to the dominance of private vehicles. This is not a future possibility, it is an ongoing crisis, yet the opposition continues to defend this status quo. This is where their argument collapses. They talk about individual freedom, but they fail to recognize that freedom cannot come at the expense of other. When one person chooses to drive a private vehicle, they directly contribute to congestion, pollution, and a lower quality of life for others. This is not freedom, this is private benefit at public cost. They argue that the economy will suffer. However, they ignore the fact that the problem now is already the making economy is activity. Congestion reduces productivity, slows mobility, and makes city center inefficient. This policy does not destroy the economy, it restores it into a more efficient and sustainable system. They also claim that public transportation is not ready, but this is precisely their biggest weakness. The problem now is the lack of urgency for change. Without strong policy intervention, governments have no incentive to improve transportation system. Their argument does not weaken or change, it actually reinforces the need for this policy. And here lays your key point. The problem we face is not temporary, it is structural. And dependence on private vehicle will continuously produce pollution, congestion, and spatial inequality unless there is decisive intervention. Private vehicles dominate urban space while serving only a minority, whereas the majority pedestrians, and public transport users are marginalized. Therefore, the policy is not merely an additional solution, but a necessary structural intervention. In conclusion, the opposition fails to recognize the problem now and instead define a system that is already harmful. This policy is not optional, it is urgent and necessary. We firmly stand in proposition. Thank you.